Welcome back to SaharaTV. My name is Rudolf Okonkwo. Until recently, our next guest was the editor-in-chief and the managing director of the Sun newspaper. Recently, he was named the spokesman for President Muhammadu Buhari. In that position, he becomes this voice as well as what will be, obviously, the punching bag for the administration. Mr. Femi Adesina, welcome to SaharaTV.
Thank you, top of the day.
Yeah, congrats on your appointment.
Thank you.
Are you excited?
Well, it's a call to service, and one should be thankful, appreciative if one is called to serve one's country.
Mm. With this appointment, you'll be switching sides, from scrutinizing the government and reporting what they do. You will now be defending the government. What prepared you for that role?
Well, let me first examine what he said. I would switch sides from scrutinizing to defending. No. The scrutinizing will still be part of my duty. Before I can speak for government, I must first scrutinize the decisions and the policies, make an input before I then can defend. So it's not a total switch. There must still be a lot of scrutinizing. Because anything I'm going to defend, I've got to be able to understand it and agree with it and see the rationale behind it before I can defend it. So it's not a total switch. Okay,
that's clear. That's understandable. Now, what if you don't agree with a policy? How will you approach it?
Yes, if I don't agree with the policy, I will make my input. I'll first ask for explanations, and then when the explanations stop, I'll make my input. But then my input does not have to override what maybe is in public interest or what is in the interest of the larger number of people. My opinion may not necessarily be the correct one. So when such things come, you then weigh it. Is it in the larger interest of the people? Is it in the interest of the country? Will it eventually result in a better standard of living for the people? That's the way to look at it. It doesn't have to be something I must agree with all the time.
Yeah.
I should be able to also appraise the decisions that have come, seek to understand them, and then key in as necessary.
There are reports out there that you know the president on a personal level. What's your relationship with the president?
Yes, I'll say yes. The president is somebody I had admired for a long time, since he was military ruler, actually. When he was a military ruler, I already was in my third year in the university, so I'll say I knew him, I knew his style, and I liked it. I felt sorry when he got overthrown. So when he came back into politics in 2003, it was something exciting for me. Since then, I've been supporting him. I'm a journalist and I write a weekly column. So I've been pointing Nigerians in his direction since 2003. And he's the person that whenever I wrote anything in his support like that, he would phone me and we would talk. He would say, thank you, we will discuss. I remember in 2009 or thereabouts when Professor Tam David West wrote a book on him, and it was to be presented at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs in Lagos. I was the master of ceremonies at the occasion. So we got to see. That was the first time I was meeting him one-to-one. And thereafter, we ran in 2011. I also still wrote in my column that I think it was the best person to rule Nigeria and bring the change. Whenever I write those things, he will call me and he will thank me and we will talk. So eventually in 2013 August, my mother passed away. And we needed to do her funeral service. So I sent him an invitation card. The service was in Lagos, and lo and behold, before the service started, he just drove in. it was a pleasant surprise. He came. It was a Christian service. He sat through it. Those who then said he was a religious bigot, it was something of a showpiece. The man who came and sat through a Christian service, and yet they would say he was a religious bigot. So that is like sort of cemented our relationship. Because after the event, I phoned him the next day. I said, thank you. And he said he was the one who should thank me. That he has never given me a kobo yet. I give him all the support. That there are people who could pay me millions of naira for such support, but I have decided to pick my tent with somebody who can give me anything. So that like cemented our relationship. And when you know, in 2011, he said he was not running again. That would be his last outing. In the run-up to 2015, I felt he could still run, and I wrote that the fact that he said in 2011 was not run, he would not run again, could not be cast in concrete. That he would change his mind if he wanted. And the rest, like they say, is history. He changed his mind, he ran, and he won. Now, significantly, on the night he was declared, on the very night, at about midnight, my phone rang, and it was one of our leaders in the media that called, and he said, please hold on for General Muhammadu Buhari. I was shocked. Wow. And then he spoke to me. He said he was profuse in his thanks. He said he appreciated my support throughout the campaign, and now that victory had come his way, he just wanted to say thank you. So that was how it played out.
Now, how did you get the appointment? Did he call you, or were you interviewed?
You know, deliberately, after that night he won and that phone call, I stayed away from him. One, for two reasons. One was that I knew we would be under a lot of pressure. A lot of people calling to congratulate him and possibly seeking one favor or the other. So since that night, I think it was March 31st, I deliberately kept away from him. Because I didn't want, one, I didn't want to add to the pressure that would be on him, and two, I didn't then want it to be that I was seeking a position in his government. I'm a Christian of the born-again stock. I want anything that happens, that comes my way, to be what God has ordained. I don't push anything. I don't lobby for anything. So I kept my distance from him. But then people around him kept talking to me that we believe you are the best person to be the spokesman for the incoming president. I didn't give any commitment. For two reasons. One, like I said, I didn't want to lobby. Two, I have a job that I enjoy doing. Managing director, editor-in-chief of one of the leading newspapers in the country, The Sun. And then I was also president Nigeria Guild of Editors. Those are high caliber jobs and responsibilities. So I wasn't looking for a job. But then people around him kept talking to me till eventually, there was some sort of, I wouldn't say it was a direct interview, but people sounded me out to say, well, if you're invited to serve in government, will you serve? My conviction had always been that I would never serve in government, except a government headed by Muhammadu Buhari. Now, when they sounded me out, that was what I said, that I didn't think I want to serve in government, but since this is Muhammadu Buhari, a man I believe in, then I will consider serving. But I also told some of them, you know, I hold a job now. I have to consult with my publisher. I have to seek his blessings. So I did so. Reluctantly, too, my publisher gave his blessings. He told me something. He said, Femi, they won't know the sacrifice I am making by letting you go. But because this is service to the country, yes, you have my blessings. So I got back to them and told them, yes, I've sought my publisher's blessings, he has given it. And the next I had was the announcement last Sunday that I had been named or appointed special advisor on media and publicity.
Now, you will be going into this job in a changing media landscape. You have the social media sometimes driving the traditional media. You have the traditional media sometimes leading the social media. How do you hope to navigate these two worlds?
Very, very important. Nobody can ignore. I wouldn't use social media. I would say digital media, because social media is just a variant of the digital media. Nobody can do anything successfully as far as the media is concerned today without factoring in the digital media. Therefore, in doing this job, that will come in. The social media, the digital media, everything will be used together. You would have seen the role they played in the campaign. You could feel the pulse of the electorate. You could already discern the direction the election will go, that merely following the digital media, particularly the social aspect of that digital media. Therefore, it played such a great role in the campaigns and in the election. There's no way you're going to ignore it. The traditional media has its place because there are people who are still glued to the traditional media. But the younger generation uses the digital media, so you then need to use all the avenues to reach the people.
I know you won't be able to speak about policies of the government yet because you are yet to assume office. But sitting where you are and watching what has transpired in the last 1 week of this administration, the media headlines, what does that say to you about what you are getting into? For instance, there's this headline that says, no, I want to know where you are sitting. You know, you are still with the media.
Yeah, what amuses me is your choice of words, what I am getting into.
Yeah, exactly. What do you feel you are getting into when you see these headlines?
Yes. I'll tell you, it's no tea party. It is no tea party. It is going to be hectic work. It's going to be grueling work. But then it's going to be working for somebody I believe in. So I guess I'm going to throw up my all into it. I am under no illusion that it's going to be easy, that it's going to be a picnic. No, it won't be. But I'll throw my all into it. And as long as my principal remains who he is, straight, accountable, focused, somebody who wants to effect a change in the country, I guess we'll get it done. When you have a good product, the marketing is easier.
All right, one last question. I know you don't have a lot of time. Let me ask you, have you been in touch with other people who spoke for past presidents? You know, people like Ruben Abati, Segun Adeni. Have you talked to them about the nature of the job, or are you going in?
Yes.
You did?
Yes, I have spoken with Segun Adeni. I've spoken with Imani Boro, who worked for President Jonathan, but I have not spoken with Ruben Abati.
Okay. What did they say to you?
Yeah, they gave me an insight into how to do that job and do it successfully. Segun, we have spoken more than once. Imani Boro, we have spoken just once. And I have an appointment. Once I get into Abuja from next week, I'll see Segun again. We'll sit down, we'll talk.
All right, Mr. Adesina, I wish you luck on the job, and hopefully you'll come back frequently because we'll need to be talking to you about serious issues.
It will be my pleasure. It will be my pleasure, and I hope you also give support.
No, we will do the job you are doing now. We will do our job, you do your own, and hopefully, you know, we'll see how it goes. Thank you so much for joining us. All right.
Thank you.
That has been Mr. Femi Adesina, who is going to Zoom office next week as the spokesman for President Muhammadu Buhari. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll continue our show. I hope you are going to enjoy all we have for you this week.